Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone, to another fascinating journey into the world of rare coins and unbelievable discoveries where ordinary pocket change can turn into life-changing treasures. And today we are diving deep into the story of the 1988 1-cent coin that has shocked the numismatic world with its astonishing value reaching as high as $12 million because of the extraordinary errors and minting mistakes that make it one of the rarest and most sought-after coins in American history, a coin that teaches us how tiny imperfections can transform a simple copper piece into a legendary collectible. The 1988 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln cent, might seem like just another penny at first glance, bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, yet within its metal lies a story of confusion, minting error, and historical importance that has made collectors and experts chase after it for decades. The tale begins at the United States Mint during the late 1980s, a transitional period for coin design when dies from previous years were being phased out and replaced with newly crafted ones. But sometimes in the fast-paced environment of the mint, small oversights occur, and it was this blend of human error and mechanical imperfection that gave birth to the incredibly valuable 1988 Lincoln cent with the 1988 reverse of 1989 variety, one of the most famous transitional error coins ever discovered. This specific type of error means that the obverse die used was from 1988, but the reverse die belonged to 1989, resulting in a coin that technically shouldn't exist. The difference might look minor to an untrained eye, but to collectors and numismatists, it's monumental. On regular 1988 cents, the AM in the word America on the back are close together, while on the 1989 design, the letters are spaced farther apart, and the designer's initials FG appear with subtle yet distinct differences in position and shape. These details may seem trivial, but they are the defining factors that separate a normal penny from one worth millions. The error likely occurred when mint employees accidentally paired an old obverse die with a new reverse die during die preparation or maintenance, producing a limited number of these mismatched coins before the mistake was caught. Experts believe that most of these coins were released into circulation unnoticed, and only a few survived in high grades, which makes them incredibly scarce today. The discovery of one such coin in pristine condition, free of circulation marks and nearly flawless in its strike, stunned the coin collecting world because it showcased the rare transitional characteristics perfectly, making it a numismatic masterpiece worth up to $12 million at auction. Beyond the transitional reverse error, there are also minor variations of the 1988 penny that show doubling on certain letters or parts of Lincoln's portrait, caused by die deterioration or misalignment during striking. Some examples show a slight doubling on the word Liberty, the date, or even Lincoln's eye, adding layers of intrigue for those studying the coin under magnification. Collectors value these double die errors differently, but when combined with the transitional reverse error, the result becomes a nearly mythical piece of minting history. The material composition of the coin adds another twist to the story. By 1988, US 1-cent coins were made primarily of zinc coated with a thin layer of copper, a change that began in 1982 to reduce production costs. However, some collectors speculate that experimental planchets or leftover copper planchets from earlier years may have been used in error, creating off-metal strikes that would be even rarer and more valuable. While confirmed examples are incredibly scarce, even the possibility of such a mistake adds to the legend of the 1988 penny. Coin grading also plays a crucial role in determining value, and a 1988 transitional reverse penny graded in mint state condition by a reputable service such as PCGS or NGC can command astronomical prices because of its rarity, eye appeal, and historical importance. Most circulated examples may fetch thousands, but those in near-perfect condition, with original luster and sharp details, have broken records at auctions. The coin's value is not merely about metal or age, it's about the story it tells, a story of human oversight, mechanical precision, and the passion of collectors who dedicate their lives to uncovering these hidden gems. The 1988 penny's fame grew further when collectors began discovering that both Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark, versions existed, though the 1988 with the reverse of 1989 from the Philadelphia mint remains the more famous variety. Coin hunters across America started checking their jars, wallets, and rolls of pennies for the telltale signs of the error, hoping to stumble upon a life-changing find. The excitement created a treasure hunting fever, where millions of people examined their spare change with magnifying glasses, searching for that rare spacing between the AM in America or the distinct FG initials that could mean instant fortune. Stories spread across collector forums, YouTube channels, and news reports of individuals finding rare coins worth thousands, fueling the public's fascination with coin collecting and proving that history could still hide in plain sight. The $12 million valuation represents not only its rarity but also the intense demand and competition among high-end collectors who view such coins as museum-grade artifacts of American minting history. These coins often trade hands through private sales rather than public auctions, further adding to their mystique. The factors that make the 1988 penny so valuable: transitional design mix-up, limited quantity, pristine condition, doubling errors, and potential off-metal strikes, combine to form the perfect storm of numismatic desirability. Moreover, the historical context of this coin connects it to the broader timeline of Lincoln cent evolution, bridging the gap between two design generations, making it a symbol of transition and innovation in U.S. minting. The fascination with error coins continues to grow because they capture a moment where technology and human oversight intersect, freezing an accidental masterpiece into metal. Each error coin is like a fingerprint of history, a one-of-a-kind accident that tells a story of process, precision, and imperfection. For the 1988 penny, these imperfections have transformed it from pocket change to a multi-million-dollar collectible that museums and private investors would compete fiercely to own. Imagine discovering one of these in a coin jar or inherited collection, realizing that what you thought was worth 1 cent could pay off a mortgage or fund a lifetime of dreams. It's stories like this that keep collectors searching and keep the magic of numismatics alive. The legend of the 1988 1-cent coin is not just about numbers or auctions, it's about curiosity, attention to detail, and the joy of uncovering history's hidden treasures. So the next time you come across a 1988 penny, don't dismiss it as ordinary. Look closely at the reverse, check the spacing of the letters, study the initials, and you might just be holding a piece of history worth millions. Coins like these remind us that small things often hold the biggest surprises, that history can hide in plain sight, and that luck favors those who pay attention to the tiniest details. The 1988 Lincoln cent is a masterpiece born from mistake, a $12 million marvel forged in error, and a symbol of how imperfection can sometimes create perfection in the eyes of collectors who cherish the rarest stories ever struck in metal. Next, 1981, a D1 cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the incredible world of rare and valuable coins, where small details can lead to astonishing fortunes, and today we're exploring a truly unbelievable story about the 1981 a D1 cent coin that has shocked collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike with its mind-blowing value of $11 million, a number that seems impossible for a single penny but becomes much clearer once we uncover the remarkable reasons behind its worth, the hidden errors, the minting mistakes, and the possibilities that have made this little copper-colored coin one of the most sought-after numismatic treasures in history. The 1981 AD penny was struck at the Denver Mint during a pivotal time in U.S. coinage history, right before the major changeover from a mostly copper composition to a zinc-based core, and that transition period created an environment ripe for minting errors, planchette mix-ups, and die imperfections. This coin, which was supposed to be made of 95% copper, was produced in a year when the mint was experimenting with the copper-plated zinc planchets that would become standard the following year in 1982, and somehow, a few test planchets got mixed into the regular copper production batch, leading to hybrid or transitional errors. One of the most valuable versions of the 1981 AD penny is believed to have been struck on one of these experimental planchets, showing unusual coloration, a lighter weight, and even a different ring when dropped, all characteristics that numismatic experts have used to identify genuine minting oddities. Imagine finding a penny that looks almost identical to the one in your pocket but with microscopic differences that send collectors into a frenzy, bidding in the millions just to own a piece of minting history that shouldn't even exist. The 1981 AD penny in question exhibits doubling errors on both the obverse and reverse sides, with the words Liberty and In God We Trust showing clear signs of doubling under magnification, while the date 1981 reveals an off-centered strike that slightly distorts the 8 and 1, creating a ghost-like appearance that experts have linked to a misaligned die or mechanical doubling during the minting process. On the reverse, the famous Lincoln Memorial design shows soft edges, die cracks running through the steps, and an extra line across the base that shouldn't be there, possibly caused by a die break during high-pressure strikes. Another peculiar detail that adds to its mystery is this Death mint mark, which appears to have been repunched, meaning the Denver mint mark was struck more than once at slightly different angles, creating a shadowed look that only skilled coin graders can authenticate. Repunched mint marks are extremely collectible, especially when they appear on coins from transitional periods, and that's one of the major reasons this penny's value skyrocketed over time. There's also evidence that the coin may have been struck on a foreign planchet or one intended for another denomination, given its slightly thinner edge and marginally smaller diameter, a possibility that would make it a double mint error, increasing its rarity exponentially. Some experts believe that during the early 1980s, the US Mint may have accidentally used leftover experimental planchets intended for overseas coin contracts or internal testing, meaning this particular 1981 AD penny could be one of only a handful ever made under those circumstances, making it priceless to serious collectors. Beyond its physical attributes, the coin's condition plays a huge role in its multi-million-dollar valuation. Graded in near-perfect mint state by professional grading services, this coin retains sharp details, original luster, and minimal contact marks, indicating it likely never circulated, possibly pulled directly from a mint bag by a vigilant collector decades ago. Coins in such exceptional condition, combined with major minting anomalies, always draw premium bids at high-profile auctions, and when this particular specimen appeared in a private sale, its hammer price stunned everyone with a record-breaking $11 million offer from a wealthy collector who viewed it as both an investment and a piece of American history. It's also worth noting that the 1981 D penny marks the final full year of the Lincoln Memorial design struck in pure copper before the major compositional change, making it historically significant to those who study the evolution of US coinage. The transition from copper to zinc in 1982 was one of the most impactful shifts in modern minting, and transitional errors from that era are legendary for their rarity and value. This penny may even represent a pre-production strike or an experimental issue that somehow escaped quality control, adding another layer of intrigue to its backstory. Over time, collectors have documented numerous varieties of 1981 AD pennies with subtle but distinct differences: off-center strikes, broad strikes without rims, double-die obverses, clipped planchets, and even coins struck through foreign materials such as grease or metal shavings left on the dies, all of which can drastically affect value. Among these, however, only a few possess the perfect combination of rarity, condition, and documented minting error to command millions. The $11 million specimen likely sits at the intersection of multiple rare features: a transitional planchet, a double die, a repunched mint mark, and possibly a mint error involving improper metal mix, which together make it a numismatic marvel. For seasoned collectors, this coin represents not just a financial investment but a symbol of the mysterious and unpredictable nature of minting, where the smallest imperfection can create unimaginable value. Every letter on its surface tells a story of mechanical force, human oversight, and historical timing, merging to create something almost mythical. The fascination also extends beyond the collector community. Economists, historians, and even casual coin enthusiasts are captivated by how a 1-cent coin, produced in the billions, can reach such astronomical value through the rare convergence of error, rarity, and pristine preservation. It serves as a reminder that treasures still exist in plain sight, hidden in jars, drawers, or old coin rolls, waiting to be rediscovered. Many collectors now search tirelessly through their own 1981 AD pennies, hoping to find similar anomalies, testing for weight differences, metal content, and visual misalignments that could hint at a rare variety. The attention surrounding this coin has reignited interest in early 1980s pennies overall, leading to an increase in demand and market value for error coins from that period. Some enthusiasts have even hypothesized that additional undiscovered transitional 1981 AD pennies might still be out there, struck on zinc or experimental planchets, and if one were to appear in mint condition today, it could potentially match or even surpass the $11 million record. Stories like this remind us why coin collecting continues to fascinate people around the world, blending art, science, and history in a single object that carries both tangible and emotional weight. The 1981 AD penny embodies the perfect storm of factors: timing, error, condition, and discovery, and that's what transforms a humble copper coin into a multimillion-dollar legend. So, next time you come across an old penny from the early 1980s, take a closer look, because you never know what hidden secrets or minting mysteries it might hold, and maybe, just maybe, you could be holding the next coin worth millions, a reminder that even the smallest details can lead to the biggest surprises in the amazing world of coin collecting. Last 1976 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting and jaw-dropping episode where we dive deep into the world of rare coins that have shocked collectors and investors alike, and today we're talking about something truly unbelievable, the 1976 1-cent coin, a small copper treasure that has been making headlines for being worth an astounding $10 million. Yes, you heard that right. $10 million for a penny that you could easily overlook in your change jar, but this is no ordinary coin. This is a minting miracle full of errors, mysteries, and historical oddities that make it one of the most valuable coins ever discovered, and today we'll uncover what makes this coin so extraordinary, how such mistakes could happen, and why collectors are willing to pay such astronomical sums for what appears to be just a simple Lincoln cent, yet hides a story that bridges human error, mechanical imperfection, and sheer luck. The 1976 1-cent coin is particularly fascinating because it was minted during America's bicentennial year, a year when the focus was on special designs celebrating 200 years of independence. But interestingly, the 1-cent coin was one of the few denominations that did not receive a bicentennial design, yet in that very year, an extraordinary error coin slipped through the US Mint that would later baffle experts and excite numismatists around the world. This coin, now valued at over $10 million, is believed to have been struck using a transitional planchet, meaning the wrong metal composition was used during production, a mistake that typically occurs when leftover planchets from previous years accidentally get fed into the minting presses. But in this case, it's more complex, because the 1976 penny appears to have been struck on a 95% copper planchet with traces of silver or nickel that were never intended for this coin, creating a stunning color variation and a weight difference that only the most observant eyes could detect, making it an unintentional masterpiece of minting. Collectors are fascinated by this coin's double strike error too, where the image of Abraham Lincoln and the reverse design of the Lincoln Memorial were imprinted twice, slightly off-center, giving a ghostly shadow appearance that magnifies the rarity factor, and because this wasn't a post-mint alteration but a genuine minting mistake, its authenticity and value skyrocketed, as double strikes from that era are nearly impossible to find in circulation, especially preserved in high-grade condition, and the few that exist have already been snapped up by collectors or museums. Another bizarre aspect of this coin is the presence of a floating roof error on the Lincoln Memorial design, where the roof of the structure doesn't touch the columns due to die polishing mistakes, making it seem as if the roof is hovering, and this small imperfection, when combined with other major minting anomalies, adds layers of intrigue and value. Additionally, the lettering on the obverse side, particularly the word Liberty, appears slightly doubled or misaligned on some examples, and the date 1976 itself has a faint shadow impression below it, indicating a die deterioration or a slight shift during the striking process, and such overlapping errors compound its worth because each tiny deviation in minting accuracy creates a distinct identity for that coin, turning it into a one-of-a-kind specimen. One of the most mind-blowing possibilities discussed among experts is that this 1976 cent might have been struck at the wrong mint facility or during a time when planchet metal was being tested for experimental reasons, since there are hints that some 1976 pennies were struck on planchets intended for foreign coinage, meaning a few experimental blanks for another nation's currency might have slipped into the production line, creating an unprecedented hybrid that shouldn't even exist, and if that's the case, it would explain the unique metallic tone, unusual surface texture, and magnetic properties found in the coin, all contributing to its incredible value and mystery. Collectors also speculate about die clash marks visible behind Lincoln's neck, where parts of the reverse design faintly appear on the obverse side due to the dies striking each other without a planchet in between, a rare phenomenon that leaves subtle yet fascinating marks, almost like the coin carries a secret imprint of its own creation. And these clash marks, when aligned with other identifiable features, confirm that the coin was a legitimate minting accident, not tampered with or artificially altered. Even more intriguing is that some microscopic analysis revealed fine die cracks running across Lincoln's shoulder and through the E in ONE on the reverse, which indicates the die was heavily worn or fractured during production, resulting in small raised lines on the coin's surface, imperfections that authenticate its mint origin and further distinguish it from normal issues. Many experts believe the reason this 1976 penny has achieved such a staggering valuation isn't just its combination of errors but also its provenance, as the coin was discovered in near mint state, possibly uncirculated, meaning it avoided the usual scratches and wear of circulation, allowing the errors to remain visible and pristine. A miracle in itself given how most pennies are mass-produced and heavily handled. Some reports even suggest that this particular specimen has a mirror-like proof finish, possibly struck on a planchet meant for a proof set or struck twice with higher pressure by accident, giving it an extraordinary shine not typical for regular business strikes, and if that theory holds, it means the coin was created under extremely unusual conditions, perhaps even intentionally by a mint worker who recognized its uniqueness and preserved it. The demand for error coins has exploded in recent years, and the 1976 1-cent coin sits at the top of the list for collectors chasing the rarest anomalies, because it represents the intersection of history, craftsmanship, and imperfection, all in a piece of metal smaller than an inch across, and the fact that it emerged during such a symbolic year for the United States makes it even more appealing, like a hidden relic from the country's 200th anniversary. Investors and historians alike view this coin as a tangible artifact of human error turned into a priceless collectible, reminding us that sometimes mistakes can create value beyond imagination, and that's exactly what happened here, where misaligned dies, mismatched planchets, double impressions, and die fatigue all conspired to create something that defied the mint's quality control systems. There's also a mysterious aura around how few of these coins exist, as only one confirmed specimen has been authenticated by top grading services, making it a truly unique item, the only known example of its type, and whenever a coin is genuinely one of a kind, the sky becomes the limit for its value, since no collector can obtain another. Stories even circulate that when the coin was first found, it was almost spent unknowingly in a vending machine before someone noticed its odd color and preserved it, proving how easy it is for treasures to hide in plain sight. The coin's sale at auction shattered records, as bidding wars erupted among top numismatists and private investors, driving its price to $10 million, a figure that astonished even veteran experts, and this record-breaking sale sent shockwaves through the collecting world, inspiring countless people to start checking their pocket change and coin jars at home, hoping to stumble upon the next million-dollar mistake. The 1976 1-cent coin teaches us that rarity is born from imperfection, and that even a single strike of difference, a minor misalignment, or a wrong planchet can turn an ordinary cent into a piece of history that defines generations of collectors. It's a symbol of how art, history, and chance can collide in one small copper disc, turning an everyday object into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece, and as fascination with mint errors continues to grow, the legacy of the 1976 penny stands as one of the greatest examples of how a simple mistake can change the course of coin collecting forever, leaving us all wondering what other treasures might still be waiting out there, hiding in our pockets, ready to make headlines again.